Injustice trauma, it's a thing. Do you think that you might be struggling with injustice trauma? And this might be an area in your life that needs healing. It's this overwhelming sense of being powerless and a victim to other people's willingness or unwillingness and incapacity or lack of capacity to do the right thing or to do right by you or to do right in general. And just this awareness that no matter how good you are, no matter what you do, how right you try to be, you will always be vulnerable to other people's unwillingness to show up and to do the right thing. I'll give you a bit of a personal story just to paint a picture for you so you can see if you can identify with this somewhat. So I grew up with adults who were addicts, traumatized, unwilling to, and ignorant, totally ignorant to their own trauma, re traumatizing themselves, um, homeless, moving from house to house, and being amongst adults that just were so involved in their own drama that they had no capacity to nurture me, to support me, or to offer me any security. My life was very insecure. So I learned very early that if the people who are a part of your life, who you rely upon and you depend on, do not have the capacity to do right by you, you're in danger. So that's part of it. And then the other thing is I was sexually assaulted for since the age of around 6 7 until 10, consistently, by someone that married into my family. And because of all the drama, and because this person was constantly abusing this family member of mine, there was always this drama, these problems that they were trying to fix, that it became this big noise. And I just drowned out. I sort of faded into the background. And so it was easy to miss that I was being abused in this way and violated in this way when there were so many other things and other aspects of my basic needs that were being neglected. So this went on for a long time. And when I did eventually tell my family, they were there were initially looks of shock and everybody went quiet, and then they just carried on as normal. Never spoke about it again. Nothing was done. Everybody's lives just went on as normal. This was the biggest indication to me that I do not matter, and that what happens to me is irrelevant. And so that was a great injustice. I felt as though the people who were supposed to care about me and were supposed to love me and supposed to have my back, that I just didn't matter to them. And I learned that when people are in a place of deep wounding, codependence, and just in a distorted, unhealthy place, that it doesn't matter who you are to them, and it doesn't matter how much you need them, they're going to do what they need to do, whether it hurts you or not. So I personally have a very deep injustice wound, and I'm a Libra. Libra is about justice, Libra is about harmony. So I was the person who would stand up and fight for other people's injustice and for people who were being bullied, even if that meant me sort of standing in becoming a punching bag or taking the hits, or just standing in the line of fire. I have a very deep sense of justice, and I'm very, very acutely aware of injustice. It doesn't always work in my favor though, because the reality is that I have gotten into the habit of determining and declaring whether or not I am valued, what my value is, and how secure I am based on other people's capacity to be considerate of my needs and of what is right and what is wrong in relation to me. And this puts me in a vulnerable place because we are all, every human being is only going to do what they need to do for their own survival and for their own self-preservation. And this might sound very, very selfish, but that's the reality. That's all each and every individual can do. So what I've had to do is I've had to revisit this because it's shown up for me in different areas of my life because of this wounding, with whether it's in the workplace, whether it's with some friends, whether it's with colleagues, landlords. They just don't do the right thing. I am so hard on myself about doing the right thing. And so when other people don't do the right thing, it really triggers me. And I've had to realize, I've had to speak to Spirit about this. Why does this happen to me? And Spirit had to say to me, well, your wounding is very, very dominant. And so you keep attracting the same sort of thing because you are calling and you are asking to heal this wound. And so people will keep mirroring it to you until you stop giving other people the power to determine your value, to determine how much peace you have today based on whether or not everybody did what they are supposed to do. And every time you are triggered into wanting to go to war with the injustices and what is wrong around you and in a situation, you give your power away and you give your peace away, because that person only has the capacity that they have, and what they choose to do determines their karma. But the moment you focus into it and lean into it and take that personally, you attach yourself to that karma too. So if you identify with any of what I've said and you feel that you have an injustice wound or trauma to heal from, you want to take your power back, you don't want to be so sensitive to what other people do and do not do, these might be some other further indications or symptoms that you have an injustice wound. So you have pain, chronic pain, either in the chest area or in the upper back. I have the upper back, the shoulders, between the shoulder blades. A lot of my tension goes and sits there. You have chronic fatigue. You're always exhausted and tired, and you feel drained. The other thing is that you have a short attention span. So for me, my tolerance gets really, really low. I don't have a lot of patience for what I call nonsense, and then I become a little bit short-tempered and have less tolerance than I usually have. To hear people and maybe that's because I feel that I'm not fully considered and fully heard in those moments when I'm vulnerable. So I work on this constantly. I've had to revisit it many times and I've grown a lot, but I must say to you, it's got layers. So if you'd like to begin to heal this, I would recommend obviously that you get a professional to help. You can get a professional spiritual life coach or a life coach like myself, or you can get some therapy. But just in your own capacity to start, because we can't all afford that, you can start with a meditation every day, okay? 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night, all right? And choose a frequency that is a godlike frequency. Look for that on YouTube. That's what I would advise. And then I would also repeat this mantra whilst I listen to that frequency music. I'm safe and comfortable in this body. I deserve to be safe and comfortable in this body. My value, my security, and my comfortability is entirely in my power and in my hands. I accept myself the way that I am. I am good enough. My happiness does not depend on anybody else. Regardless of the consequences, I can choose to have peace. My body is perfect the way that it is, and I love myself and I love my life. Write that down. Repeat that mantra morning and night whilst listening to high frequency music. And then make a list at the end of every day in your journal of everything that you were able to do and achieve for you on that day. Okay? Love and light. I hope that this helps, and I wish you well.